Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Father, forgive us. Can you have mercy? Please have mercy on us. Please have mercy on us. We repent of our sins, won't do it again. Deliver us from this evil, chosen people. Please have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. We repent of our sin, won't do it again. Deliver us from this evil, chosen people. Yeah, please, yeah. Forgive us, fight for us, forgive us. Chosen people.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Mercy Seat. I am your host, YuNiYAH, and always it is such a pleasure to be here. Well, many of you all may know, and if not, I'm going to share with you how we always want to open up with what do we call 15 minutes of fame. I have a wonderful individual that I want to introduce you all to. Many of you all probably already know her. I mean, this young lady, she's very spontaneous. She's very active. She is the one that actually is the reason why I'm here. I was on her show. She introduced me in regards to my new book. And right after that, here we go. I'm having my own show. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to have to wait any longer. I want to introduce my very dearest friend, Mrs. Asada, to the show. Hello there, sweetie pie. Come on in. What's going on, girl? Whoop,
Wait, hold up. Look, she talk about misses. Ain't no misses. Look.
What Miss?
Let the
Miss.
brothers know. Let the brothers know.
That's all right. We speaking it into we speaking it into an existence. How about
Right.
that?
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so very much, sweetheart. Well, this is the time that we want to be able to hear from you. Talk about who is Asada, and also you have something new coming up. So, if nothing else, take this moment and share with us.
Sure. 15 minutes of fame. So what's up, everybody? I'm Asada. I have so much to my universe. Oh my God. So basically, I'm an author. I think that's first and foremost. Of 3 books, I've written a book. My first book was called Beating Black Kids, which is a book about not beating kids to discipline them. And so this book makes me feel like the Beyonce of anti-corporal punishment world. So when I go to these different events and speak about not beating our children, I think for Black people in particular, we got a psychosis where we think that this is normal. But I wrote the book so that we can handle that and look at better ways to rear our children. And so I wrote that in 2009. After having a stroke and seeing that somebody wanted me to beat my daughter because she ripped up some money while I was down. I'm like, what? Beat my daughter? Like, stop making me crazy. So anyway, this has I've been on CNN because of this. I've been on ABC. I've been on Al Jazeera, and it is really impacting the world in terms of parents. I consider myself a parenting strategist, that we can do a better job at parenting. So this is my first baby. All right. Then the second book that I came out is called Bitcoin for Black People. They call me the Harriet Tubman of crypto. Simple as that. I help Black people learn about cryptocurrency, learn how to grow it. What I mean, I literally tonight had to speak. Every other day I speak to the world about crypto. Today I had Nigeria on my webinar. I had UK. I had all day getting people from Cameroon, Uganda, like people like really getting us to learn about crypto as a people and start a revolution that doesn't involve us getting us bashed in the head or fighting. No, we're doing a financial revolution that is real, that I get to forge forward, and I love that. So Bitcoin for Black people is some of why I'm legitimate in that area. And then I have one more book. So you want me to hold on for that, or you want to ask me a question, or what you want to do?
I do want to ask you two questions, but you know what I want to do? I want you to go ahead on and give that other one right quick, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead
Let's
on and
knock it
share.
out. Let's knock it out. So, y'all, I got this book, not that book. We're going to close off that book, and I'm going to bring on this book. That's right. I had to choose to feel better. So, I
Mm.
had a stroke in 2024. I'm going to stop writing books after strokes. Like, we're not going to have a stroke and then write a book. Like, that don't need to be the precursor to me writing a book. So, that's the last one, right? But I wrote this book because the healing process needed to be chronicled, and I needed for people to understand what I did spiritually, mentally, and physically to heal myself after having that stroke. So that's the last book that I wrote.
Amazing. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
kind of go backwards, right?
Yeah.
And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I want to kind of go backwards is I had to choose to feel better. Now let me tell you the dynamics of that part. And it's called choice.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us have to realize that choice is important, right? Ultimate. What we choose to do determines the outcome of our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
How we
Absolutely.
live and how we move.
Mm-hmm.
And so in regards to that, that was in regards to food. Am I correct?
A few things. So when you get to my book is I had to choose to feel better is made up of 3 sections: spirit, mind, and body.
All
And
right.
so I go through spiritually what had to happen, my listening to the creator, my getting little keys as I'm waking up from sleep, all these different things spiritually that I had to go through. Then I go through the mental, because you go through a lot of things. Like I went through feeling very alone, like people weren't checking on me and blah, blah, blah. And you just go through a lot of mental tricks when you are healing, listening to my body, wondering why is this happening and all of that. And then I go through the body where I do define, what did I eat? What did I change? What was I deficient in? Deficient in magnesium, deficient in potassium. Like it's a lot of times we don't feel well because of deficiency. So that's the third part of the book. And I have a very big glossary. It's like a 30-page glossary in the book that really helps you understand different words that you might not understand in the healing process.
You know, that's really deep, because we do have to pay attention to all of those things.
Yeah.
And was that once you had the stroke that all of that started to take a toll or a play
I just
or a
felt
role?
like, having the stroke was the precursor to the book. Now, did I
Mm,
need to have the stroke to make the book? I don't know. Maybe I did, right? Because the stroke made me aware of my body in a different way. So now you can't even bring a potato chip near me. You can't even bring some French fries near me. Like I'm not going to even touch it. All I drink is water. Like there's certain disciplines that I put in place to make this Asada that you're talking to. So she's even better than the other Asada. And I thought that was a good girl. But no,
mm,
this one, this Asada, this Asada, I don't play no games. Like it's a real deal, attention to details. Nothing goes in this body that would hurt it. Not a piece of gum, not a piece of nothing. Like if it
yeah.
doesn't belong, if it's not going to heal me, I'm not taking it in my body, whether that be through my eyes, through my ears, through my mouth, nothing. So yeah,
Mm.
that's who I am right now. It's very different than before.
And we look at that, that this is the temple. This is the temple of the Most High.
Yeah,
This right here is what allows us to be able to move and to do the things that we need to do. And
sure.
so, what would you say, or what would be the encouragement to other individuals to say, hey, before you get to the stroke place, before you get to the heart attack, before you get to the death row, what would you say to individuals that they really need to focus on so that they don't get to that place?
I think it's an issue around caring for yourself and
Mm,
caring for yourself enough that you don't allow not only food to poison you, but people to poison you.
yes,
We keep a lot
yes.
of poisonous relationships for reasons of nonsense. Like nobody gets permission to have my space or to breathe my air if they are not good for me. I'm not going to give you a benefit of a doubt. I'm not playing with you. Like if you're not good for me, you don't get no permission slip. Actually, I dry erase you. Not the
Got you.
erasing on the board where you erase and you see a little bit left. No, I dry erase you. That's with the alcohol where you don't see no remnants left. And so I remove you from my universe to that degree so that there's no toxicity coming off of you with your problems and you're making me coming to help me with the intention to destroy me. No, we're not doing any of that. So I eat well, I take care of myself, I do my Scientology courses, I keep myself spiritually uplifted, and I just do things to better bodies, to better everybody that I touch.
And you know what? The one thing that I really like love about you is that it's almost like a militant, no nonsense type thing, very direct. But in the curve, I'm gonna let you know I do love you. You know what I'm saying? Much love, much toodles. But that right there, there's gonna be a we're gonna cut that out. You know,
Yeah,
before we even go any further, we're gonna cut that nonsense out,
sure, sure.
right?
Zero
And all of
tolerance.
that brought you to this place, though, right?
Sure, because I'm not really into mediocrity. I don't do
Mm,
mediocrity. I'm not
yeah,
interested. I'm not interested in CP time. I'm not interested in anything that doesn't make us excellent. I'm into excellence. So my thing is just be excellent. You cannot be the descendants of kings and queens and you mediocre. What is you
mm,
talking about? You're not fulfilling what the legacy is of the royalty. We ran the world. You don't run the world on CP time. You don't run the world with some low income. No, it's just about abundance, affluence, and happiness. I believe in happiness. Everything I
yes.
do gotta bring me happiness. And
That
so if
that's
a person
that's
doesn't
key.
bring me happiness, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm not interested. You can talk to somebody else, but we're not gonna be fake with the head wrap. If I'm gonna wear the head, if I'm gonna wear the crown, baby, I
You're
gotta
gonna
act the
wear.
crown. I gotta act the crown.
Got you.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
and so I do want to touch on the other things as well, before we end. And
sure.
that is not only you have the Bitcoin, and then you have the other book that you were talking about. So
Yeah.
if you can kind of elaborate on both of those things, cut into the one
Sure.
and bring us into the other.
Hold on, let
Um,
me show you. Don't play with me. Look,
don't
they
play
call
with
me the Harriet Tubman of crypto. You feel me, y'all? The
yes, yes.
Harriet Tubman of crypto. That means I emancipate people with cryptocurrency. This is a new money that has been out here for 15 years. You even hear the president of the United States talk about it, but they talk about what they do. My thing is to teach you what you can do and have your own power, decentralized finance. So I literally speak all week long, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. I'm always doing some talk about crypto. And it's the basics. It's not no jargon. It's so that you better understand what it is. Because if you don't understand what it is, you're going to get got. There's no wealth in the future if you don't have crypto. So I need to teach that to our people so we can really excel and not be scared of it. It ain't no scam. It's just currency. It's the people and what they do with it that make it a scamalicious. But it itself is not a scam. But come get to learn the difference. You can see me all the time. Find me on social media. Be like, what's that link? I don't be giving out the link only to the worthy. That's all I do. So there's the days right there. You find me and then I'll get you there.
Gotcha. And tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about your other book.
So we talking about Bitcoin for Black people. Uh, I had to choose to feel better and beating Black kids. Which one you want to know about?
Well, you know what? The beating Black kids, you kind of elaborated on that. So I just like to touch because, would you say in regards to the one with the beating Black kids, would
Mhm.
you say in regards to that more of that there's a difference between beating and discipline?
No, ma'am. So here's the
Okay.
deal. Discipline comes from the Latin root disciplina. That means to teach. like the disciples, disciplina, right? Discipline. Jesus didn't beat them. He taught them. You feel me? So discipline has nothing to do with beating. That comes from being a slave. And that's how they defined that process so that we would fall for the okie doke. So if I'm going to discipline my child, first of all, why you want to discipline children? They're not doing nothing. They're to be disciplined. They're just growing. But what is your aptitude? I say raise your skills and not your hands to discipline children, to teach them, right? So that's what I get into. We're going to not act like beating and hitting and smacking and popping is not the same thing. They're all pain to the body. And when you bring pain to the body, cells die away. It's just different gradients of pain. So the memory of the cells, when you hit it and the toxicity from that is the problem. The regulatory part of the brain is the part of the brain that deteriorates when there's toxic stress in the body. But it's also the part of the brain that regulates and make decisions in times of adversity. So guess what? We don't have good regulatory equipment in our brains. That's why the community look like that. So my thing is, hey, y'all, let's do something different. Let's raise our skills and not our hands to rear them, to discipline them so that they can have the skills they need to run the world. They can't run the world with no regulatory equipment. It's too crazy. So anyway, that's where I come in and I teach.
I do thank you, Assata. But before you leave us, can you tell us when can individuals see your show, your days and your times?
Sure. So basically, y'all, I am on the Female Solution on Tuesday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And this week is the final show for Gathering of the Griots, where I interviewed authors for the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. But I have so much in store about me. We're going to call this new show Assata Says, and it talks about all the things. This month of March is going to focus on Black entrepreneurship. So it's a little bit of everything that I am so that you can benefit from everything I have to bring to the table. So Assata Says starts in March, and we're phasing out tomorrow morning, Gathering of the Griots, and just talking about our authors. Yep.
All right. Well, if nothing else, Assata, I do want to say thank you. Thank you for interviewing me and allowing me to be on your show, which brings me to this place of being able to have a show and being able to share. So I really, really, truly do appreciate that. As you all see, this is Assata on Tuesday, 7 a.m. You're able to catch her. We're going to go into break, and I'm going to bring Assata. I believe this is your new commercial for your show. We're going to go into that, and then we'll be right back.
Cool. Great day. It's your girl Assata here to introduce a new Female Solution show called Assata Says. That's right. Every month we're going to talk about everything I am, from cryptocurrency and financial security to good health and parenting strategies. Come on and talk with me every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And let's do that thing the way Assata says it should be done. See you then. Peace, right here on the Female Solution.
Well, welcome back. It has been a pleasure. Every beginning of my show, we like to start it off with the 15 minutes of fame. So for the next few shows, you're going to be seeing a different host that you can find right here at the Female Solution Network. You can come on, you can go to femalesolution.com, and you can see all of the different hosts that is here on the platform. And you can see some of the shows they have done. You can see, when they're going to be hosting their next shows. But any information, you can go right there, thefemalesolution.com. Again, I am YuNiYAH E, and this is Mercy Seat. And I am here every second and fourth Monday at 7 p.m. And it's always such a pleasure. But we have a great show for you on today. So I'm going to be getting ready to bring my guest in. And we're going to be talking, this is actually the third episode, not the third episode, but the third part 3, should I say it like that? Part 3, we're talking about, is it about the blood? It's about the blood, or is it not? Is it not about the blood? I'm gonna get it one way or another. I done messed up my whole show, but that's okay. The whole title of it. But we're gonna go ahead on. I want to get ready to bring my guest in. One of my first guests, which is our very own producer, which is Miss Naima. Miss Naima. She is going to be coming in with us, and I want to bring her to the stage. Hey, Miss Naima.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing fine, other than the fact that I had just sat here and just got the whole title of the show. I love to be able to laugh at myself.
On the screen, so that way hey, I know how
Look,
that is.
you know how that goes. But it's not about the blood, or is it? And this is part 3. And I'm really excited about that. And we're going to also be having another guest that is going to be coming in with us. But how we ended up getting to part 3, right after the last show, Naima and I we just started talking and everything. And we went a little bit more in depth in the show. And it was really, really interesting of what we were talking about. And we was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a part 3 on this. We're gonna take this a little further because this is interesting. So what we ended up talking about, even from the last show, is about family, right? Do we accept things because it's family? Do we agree because it's family? Or do we allow ourselves to be straightforward and nip it in the bud? You know, as you all know, even Asada, when she was just on in her book in regards to beating the Black children, beating Black kids, what happens when we have family members that are out of order? And instead of confronting it, and I like what she said, to be able to say something to them, correct them, not always having to hit them, but what happens when the children are out of order? And you know how mothers have their moments and their times when they say, well, that's my child, they just be having some issues. Is that okay? Or is that something that we really need to address? And how do we address those issues? So we were talking, and I wanted to hear what you had to say, even from the latter part when we had that conversation.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad you had Asada on to talk about the whole issue of discipline and child rearing, because we tend to think that if a child says something that we don't like, that we have to beat them or slap them or hit them or reprimand them. But as she was saying, we have to guide them. And it's very important that a parent have their ego intact, so that they're not thinking that a 2-year-old that says no, they don't want to eat their spinach because they don't like spinach. And if you have some self-esteem issues as a parent, then you're going to think, I don't know, 2-year-old, tell me no. And you want to be slapping on them and making them eat it and all that, instead of realizing, number one, they're a child. And number two, they're going to speak the language that you taught them to express their opinions. And number three, they deserve to have an opinion. But you can still correct behavior without violence. We need to learn how to raise children, how to rear them, how to teach them, how to guide them using the example of our own behavior. It can't be a do I say, not as I do kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't like that.
We're cussing. How does it look if we're going to slap a child who's learning language and they're going to repeat everything we say because we're teaching language? So we're saying words that the society has decided are vulgar and profane. And then when they repeat it, we want to hit them. Don't be cussing at me. Well,
right.
I say the words you said.
Learned behavior.
Yes.
Learned behavior. Right. Behavior.
So we have to model the behavior we want them to have, and then know how to gently redirect them when they misbehave. So this whole thing of teaching children, we have to change the way we think, because we have come out of a conditioning that came out of slavery and
Gotcha.
beating someone into submission and beating someone. They didn't get a worse beating from the master. You know, white people who made us believe that they had authority over us. No one has authority over you. There's only one authority, as we know. There's the creator of the universe. That's the only authority that exists in the universe. Everyone else is just here experiencing life, but no one has authority unless you give it to them. And we give our authority over to people who aren't worthy of it. So authority means trust. When children trust you because you aren't causing them physical harm, then they will listen, and they will model the behavior that you show them. They're watching all the time. If we're in the household, they're seeing how we talk to each other. They're seeing how we treat each other. They're going to mimic what they see because they're learning how to be a human being in this environment and how you treat other human beings. So you can't expect, if you got a household where people argue and fight and cuss each other out, to have a child that's not going to do that same thing. They're going to take that behavior out of your house and take it into the world because that's what they learn. So this is a challenge for us to change the way we think in terms of how you actually create the behavior of a child. We keep thinking it's force and fear, and it isn't. So that's the biggest step.
Well, I would like soon to bring on, this is so interesting. So I want to bring in Mr. Tony Wilkins, which is my son, my youngest son. I'm going to bring him to the stage. And one of the reasons to have is because I was that mama that disciplined. And grand evening to you, my love, grand evening. I was that mother that disciplined. And so I would like to, peace and love to you too, Jeremiah 9. I would like to hear from him and allow him to have that opportunity. I think we lost him. Did we lose him?
Yeah,
I think we lost him.
He'll be back.
We'll try and get him back. But we're going to talk about how that may have done from a child's perspective, right? So it's always good. We have another one still getting the hang, still to this day, to keep us in fear, the recent Georgia incident.
Yeah, there was I guess, lynching that happened. And, you know, fear is so much a part of our society that it should not come from parents whom you trust. Love does not hurt. And I, you know, and I'm sure, you know, your son has some perspectives on things because he experienced your love. And, you know, I have people that say, well, this is tough love, but still love doesn't hurt. And we really have to change the way we raise our children if we expect to see a difference in the society. Right now, what we're seeing are children that are out of control because they don't have self-control. And that's what you're teaching. Self-control is when you manage yourself, not someone having to have an iron fist over you to keep you in fear, but you learn how to manage your own emotional responses so that no one has to come and control you with a stick or a whip or a gun. That's the that parents have.
And so first of all, welcome, Tony. So glad to have you. And one of the things and what we're talking about tonight, but it just so kind of geared over into even this part of it in regards to discipline. Because I truly believe that a lot of discipline and a lot of decisions that are made in families is because there's no structure. And so we protect the wrong. We allow the okay, or the slap on the hand, or the, slap on the wrist is what they say. So you, being a child that was raised in discipline, what would you like to share with everyone in regards to what has been said?
I was definitely raised disciplined. Now, how everybody doing? But
Wonderful.
I me having children, 6 children, um, and it's we having this conversation. I tell my kids all the time. our parents, by me being disciplined, when I was being disciplined, I understand that was love. and I see children now, not even just mine. It's more like catering to a child. It's more rewarding bad behavior, where we don't see it's like I was telling somebody that I said, man, me growing up, we came together as a family. We talked. We did everything together, right? Because we didn't have computer, cell phone, right? So I said, if you look at a household now, this is why I said the enemy created this, and people don't understand that. And they be like, what you mean the enemy created that? When technology was created, it separated households, right? People going to buy their kids phones, tablets, all this. So you don't see the communication, you see the distraction. So when I look at my children don't have computers and tablets. We come to this table because I realize the old school way works. When we talked to our family and they understood what we was going through, we can share our thoughts in our mind. It freed us. Now in the society we live in, kids can't share their thoughts in their mind, because you know why? Because the parents got so much going on and they ain't trying to hear it. They got a boyfriend over here, the baby daddy ain't acting right. They got to make sure they go out with their friends. They got to plan everything. Where back in the days it was it was more, how you feeling? What's going on? Let's eat together. It's people that have dining room tables that just do it for decoration. Nobody don't even eat at the dining room table. So when you say children, I was just telling them, I say, back in the days, and we don't have grandmas no more. Grandmas are gone. The grandmas now is about 40, 50. They about 40, 50. They trying to see what the 30-year-olds look like. They going to get the BBLs. They trying to see what's trending on social media. They trying to follow the world. And this is what God warned us about. They following the world, not understanding that we are following the enemy's creation, and our children are slipping away from us. Even we slipping away from ourselves. So I told them, half of these kids don't even know their cousins. We slept at grandma's house with our cousin. It was open access. Now grandma's saying, I got to go outside. So disciplinary now is not all about whoopings. Disciplinary can be conversation, because now you have a conversation with a child, it feel like a whooping because they don't want to talk. They too busy in their phones, or they trying to find something. So me as a father, I told them, that's why I called you, Mom. I said, I never understood. I thought you was the bad guy. But the way I turned out, realized I needed them whoopings. I needed them conversations. I needed that time to make me be the man that I am today. Yeah, I tried the streets, but I went back to the teaching you gave us. You see what I'm saying? And I realized when I come in my household, I ask how my kids doing, how your mental doing, how is your relationship with the Father? We can talk about the world all day. How is your relationship with the Father? If you got a relationship with the Father, you will have peace. Peace is not a word. I tell people that. People say we need happiness. Jesus said he is peace. So if I have a relationship with him, I'm at peace. So me being at peace, I don't care if you yell at me, you curse me out. I love you. It is what it is. They say that all the time. You always smiling, because what I'm mad for, I'm alive. I'm trying to figure out other stuff that I'm going to figure that out later. Right now, I'm trying to figure out why God keep waking me up. Okay, he let me be a father. I need to learn how to be a father. He told me to be a husband. I need to learn how to be a husband. I need to learn how to be the best me. It ain't they say it ain't a book for the yesterdays. I open up my Bible and I read. Okay, I tried the streets. That didn't work. I tried multiple women. That didn't work. I tried to be the cool dad. They still turned on me. Now I have to be the dad and the husband and the man God wants me to be. You see what I'm saying? So disciplinary, yeah, it ain't about the whooping, But people don't even understand the greatest whooping you can give a child is instruction from the Lord. They don't like it. Like if I can say my kids right now can play all day, and I can show y'all now. Let's have Bible study. They like this. I'm tired. Okay, Daddy, we gonna get it together. See what I'm saying? So we have to get out of enemy's camp and stop trying to follow these trends that they trying to set amongst us. We need grandmas to get back in order. We need men to get back in order. We need our children to realize it's okay to be a child. You don't need the long hair all the way down to your butt. You ain't trying to impress the crowd and all this. We need children to go outside and play in the snow and go outside. Because I say the side ain't even for playing, it's for killing now. Don't nobody play no more. It's all for killing. It ain't even outside to play no more. It's for shaking, twerking, and killing. But if we get back into the order, like my house, so I got videos. I record them. I say, my kids playing snow. People wonder why their kids sick. Because they ain't never been outside. So when it's cold touch them, they body not used to it. But I live, so I appreciate the whoopers and the discipline because it's train up a child the way they should go. They never depart. I never depart from your teaching. So your teaching, what brings me back, even though I wanted to get away, I used to tell you, Mom, like, I ain't gonna never whoop my kids. I ain't gonna never do such a thing. You're mean. So I was being cool, and I see my kids still turning. I say, hold on. So I use your saying, hate me now to love me later. And they love me. They hate sometimes that I do, but my kids love and they do it because they know I love them. We not.
Now, I even have a question, Tony.
Yeah, I got a question. And I will never, disagree with a person. If they said they needed a beating, I'm going to allow that thought because that's your thought. But when you were raising your children and you decided you were not going to hit them, and then you changed your mind, what incident or incidences made you change your mind? That's the first question. The second question, what methods were you using to correct behavior before you chose to resort to hitting?
So hitting, when y'all say hitting, I'm not like a big hitter. I have girls. I have one boy. Now I'm on him. But my girls, I let their moms kind of physically do things like that. My method is more so, I'm more so of a teacher. And my kids know, like, he talk a lot. Like, I'm more, let's correct the issue now. I'm not a type of parent that I want to talk when I'm tired of y'all. A lot of people do things when they tired. And that's when it comes to beating.
Good point. That's in the right mood. If you don't have patience, you can't really speak well because you're angry or tired. Yeah.
So I'm more I pay attention to mine. I pay attention to what they like. I asked my daughter, I say, what motivates you when you wake up? And she had nothing to say. I said, okay, we need to fix that. So I'm more okay, why didn't you do what I told you to do? Okay, we need to fix that. Because I need you to move to the sound of my drum. I need to let you know that I am father, that I am the man of the household. So I need you to move. And then when don't move, my wife's corrected. It's like we won. You know what I'm saying? She corrected. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I'm the beater or I'm the whooper. I don't know. When I do see my kids if they do get spanked, I ask my wife, can I go down the street or something? I can't see my girls, but my son is like, yeah, I'm kind of
a whole different story.
Yeah, it's like a whole different story because I'm raising a young man, but I'm just more of a talker. I'm patient. I understand what we going against. We going against not only the society of them going outside, but we are going against social media. Even in relationships, like people are competing against social media. Our kids things pop up on our phone. Have anything ever popped up in your phone that you thought about and it just popped up on your phone? You was like, dang, how did that happen? That's how dangerous it is. So we are dealing with that. So every day and every second I am a father. And some people are sometimes parents. And that's why they have to beat their kids because they frustrated, they tired of society. I'm not beating my kids. I'm not tired of society. I'm not none of that. So I'm patient enough to come talk, to understand what my kids going through, to have a relation. I have a relationship with my children. I'm not just a dad. I have a relationship with them. So I understand what they like, what they don't like. And I also tell my kids this: don't never let nobody tell y'all you're not going through nothing. Because show me in the Bible where it say the enemy only come attack you at a certain age. It doesn't. So the enemy can attack you even when you're a child, a baby. You don't know what people don't know what their kids going through because it's all about them. They feel
You know
like
what?
That's a very good point. That's a
That's a
very
very, very, very good point. And right before, I do want to, because I have a lot of comments, so I do want to address the comments and everything. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to close out on that. But I wanted to keep that. I do want to say shalom to Zipporah. Thank you for joining us. Again, I want to say grand evening to my husband. Hey, honey, want to say hello to you again. And we also have the female solution. I love the quote, "You don't run the world on CP time." Jeremiah 9, peace and love. Also, we have Eric. We did that one. And move around with Deborah. They learn from what they see. That is so facts. Again, hello, my love. And move around with Deborah. Speak, son. So she giving you all of the props. Peace, everybody. Peace to you, Sister Margaret. Family are the ones who need the most consistent boundaries. Boundaries are so very key, and those are facts. Address the issues quickly, firmly, and kindly. Though that's true. Children need to understand why they can't do or say a thing. That is so true. I that was something that I never said to my children. I never said to my children, just do what I tell you to do. We always had conversations about whatever before the discipline. I would ask them questions, what made you do what you've done? So we're going to take a quick commercial, and then we're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about what Tony stated, and then we're going to also continue on. All right. We will be right back as soon as we can.
Peace and love. I'm Michelle Renee, host of Education Nation, live on the Female Solution Global Network every second and fourth Sunday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The intention of Education Nation is to raise awareness about the literacy crisis and to offer information to combat the problem. The goal is to awaken an army of reading coaches and mentors. You will experience guests who are doing their part in the community to ensure youth in their circles are reading and thinking critically. I look forward to serving you in this capacity. Literacy is freedom, and Education Nation will offer information and strategies to help ensure our young people stay free.
Okay, hello and welcome back again. This is Mercy C. I am your host, YuNiYAH E. I am here with Naima Latif, which is the executive producer of the Female Solution, and also with Mr. Tony Wilkins. And the title of the show today was "It's Not About the Blood, or Is It?" And this is our part 3. And we have been talking about in each one of these segments in regards to how families, accept certain things. And, because we're family, we're going to rock together, no matter how good or bad it is. But it also have dwelled into disciplining our children. And so I would like to be able to say this. I was a mother. As you see, this is my youngest. One of the youngest. It's like 12 of them. We have 12 children, but this is one of the youngest ones. And when raising them, I wouldn't just spank them. When they did wrong, we would have what is called a conversation. That conversation is, okay, Tony, why did you act up in school today? Or why did you find it necessary to be the class clown today? Whatever it was, we have that conversation. And then there are those times, then it's just raw butt. I'm gonna get that behind, because we're gonna have an understanding. You're not gonna do this anymore. And being a single parent at the time, and at that time, 3 boys by myself, honey, I prayed to the Most High to give me strength that I wouldn't allow my boys to be all over the place, and having a daughter. But in the midst of that, it was just to the point where it wasn't just all about just beating my children. That if I'm spanking you for a very, very good cause. And it's good to be able to see. I will not. The word even says in regards to most people will not like to see this, and I should have pulled up the scripture, but he said, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? If you don't discipline them, and it's not all about. Now, I know you said something too, Naeem, about using profanity. That's something I've never done with my children, and that's use profanity or talk to them, go sit your butt down, or I don't. That really cringes. I just tighten up inside hearing parents when they speak to their children in that manner. But I do want to go back to the point that you made, Tony, and then Naima, you can kind of elaborate from that. So could you repeat what you said right before we went to break? Or I hope you remember.
I remember some of it. I said we have to understand that just as well as we go through things, our children go through things. In a word, it never says that the enemy comes to you when you grown. He can come to your child. I watch children manipulate a marriage, separate a couple. I watch children know what their mother weakness is. If it's, daddy said this, or then they with the daddy, mama said this about you. Or so we have to understand that. Like I always ask my children, like, man, is this anything y'all dealing with, mentally? And I have a 3-year-old. I ask her that. So my patience comes from, I understand when I was a child and I came out and I had therapy on it, things that I was going through and things that I was battling with. And this was very young, wanted to commit suicide and things like that. But me knowing that, I know that my kids might be going through something. They might be going through lustful desires, at a certain age. They might be thinking about getting high. They might be, we don't know. So my patience comes from understanding what I've been through and know how the enemy was playing with my mind to talk to my children and have a relationship with them on that aspect.
And when you say, Tony, that was one of the things, even as you would do at this point in time, why it's so important to have family meetings. We would come together and we have family meetings. What's going on? What do you want? We do things together. Would you say that is something that is very fulfilling or helpful in regards to being able to have that interaction?
Yeah, because if you talk to your child, you might have a child that dip their head down. So I teach my kids, hey, pick your head up. Look at me in my eyes when you talk. And start at home. Look at me when you're talking to me. No matter what I say to you, don't let it destroy you.
That's critical. That is critical, because many times parents will verbally destroy a child.
Yes.
Break their spirit. And you said something also that was very key about the electronics and children not learning how to interact because they're always on their phone or their computer or on the TV. And so when you have families where people don't even talk to each other and the parents don't know what the child is going through because they don't have a conversation, that breaks down communication. So when something happens and the child makes a bad decision about doing something they shouldn't do, you didn't even know they were getting bullied, or they were trying to do drugs, or they were curious about sex, whatever was going on. If you never have a conversation, then you don't have a relationship that builds trust, and they can confide in you and tell you what they're going through so that you can help them. Now, I happen to be writing a book entitled Spare the Rod, Love the Child. And it gives guidelines on how to shape behavior without using physical force, which is spanking, beating, discipline, whatever you want to call it. But it's one thing to tell a parent, don't hit. But if you don't tell them what else to do when the run wild, so you need the instructions on what to.
Naima is freezing up.
Oh dear. Uh-oh.
That's okay. We're gonna keep it rolling. Because what you're saying is so dynamic. Yeah, keep going.
So parents need to know how to go about correcting behavior. First of all, like you said, Tony, in finding out what was the motivation of the child, because we can be assuming, oh, they just wanted to be disobedient. And so that's why we're punishing them. We're punishing them based on our assumption of their motive, and we could be totally wrong. So when we understand, we can correct how they think and how they made the conclusion to do what they did that was incorrect. And then we can show them who they hurt by the decision that they made. So we have to teach them empathy. How are you making other people feel by what you did? I mean, I could spank you because you stole this child's ball, or I could help you understand that you made them feel bad because you stole their ball and you made them cry. So me hitting you is not going to give you that empathy. It might give you fear, but it's not going to give you understanding. And what I need for you to have is understanding as to why you don't do things that hurt people, because that's what will carry you through your life.
Can I say this part?
So hopefully I didn't freeze.
I want to say this part. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So I tell people, if you don't believe in the Bible, let's go to your science. From 0 to 5, the most important part of a child life is just like you go to school. They say your freshman year and your senior year. It's the most important, right? 0 to 5. Yeah. You're supposed to be the protector and the educator. So when your kids is learning outside of your education, you whooping your raising. This is what you get mad at. This is your teaching. You playing that music and I'm turning up. I tell people like this, I don't know what type of child, I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's be honest. When we listen to R. Kelly, do we get in the mode that we want to have sex? Okay, when we listen to that's what the music is for. That's what music for, is influence you, right? But you playing this, you thinking this child don't know or don't understand. Y'all kind of cut out. Oh, don't know or don't understand where this child 2 years old rapping these songs, right? But they not rapping your teaching. They not rapping what you're trying to teach them. Like I tell people, before you hand a child something, first get their mind. Like, this is the law. This is my order. Let's see if you can follow this first. Without you following, how can you give them something else? So now, let's be honest. They say this, do sin feel good? It does. Sin feels good. That don't mean it is good. So, seeing with woman and your wife, turning up, that feel good for the moment. But let's get back to what's supposed to happen in your life. And this is what people don't understand. They want to put so much on their children. I don't. Obey my teaching first. Like me, I have friends. I know how my friends is. I don't let my kids go around my friends right now. They're not ready for that. You see what I'm saying? I know if they see their kids doing that, they probably think that's cool, right? Yeah. So I'm a protector. Can't nobody, we supposed to be protectors. We supposed to put our kids in the right situations. We don't, because we got to enjoy ourselves. We supposed to understand what's going on in our kids' mind. We don't protect their mind. So when you see your child getting older and something, you get mad at your teacher, what you allowed around them, what you allowed to feed their spirit. And we don't understand it. And that's why I made mistakes at. Like my son, I used to tell him all the time, I can't wait till you get off. I want you to have all the girls. I want you to see I was young and dumb. So it was like, I want you to blah with this and my friends around, but I never allowed my friends to curse around my kids. I don't even play that type of game. But I said this, remember when growing up, you had the time for the grown folks and the kids was in the back. Now grown folks and kids are all mixed together. right?
You know what? Before this right here, you said something that's very, very key, and I really want to do this as time is winding down. And this is a very good conversation. This is something that I find, and that is parents putting their children in their conversations or questioning their children about something that's going on, whether it's your relationships or whatever it is. That right there is like a straight up no. Children have no business making adult decisions. That should not be. If something is going on between the couple, you don't bring up, well, didn't your mama say that? Well, didn't your daddy do that? And did it? That should never happen. Children should be able to be children. There should never be a time where you should be arguing in front of your children. I never argue in front of my children. Whatever it is that is going on, that is something that is set aside. You all should handle that without hollering and screaming and cursing or using profanity, towards one another. So that was something that you said, Tony, that was very key. And children have the answers for everything. And a whole lot of mothers are now asking their children, what should they do? How do you ask your child, what should you do? Should I stay with him or should I leave? Do you like him? Did he? It's just so amazing to me, the responsibility that parents are putting on their children or exposing their children to. It's nothing like back in the day.
Or talking about the other spouse in front of the child, which is horrifying.
You should never do that.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. So we live right now, so people don't think, oh, he's just talking. I have a 3-year-old in there, and I have another young baby in there. Not one time they came up here, I didn't have to whoop him. I didn't have to yell. They understand daddy is on a call. Daddy is doing something. This all communication, right? But how do I get there? They understand if you disobedient, you're not only disobedient to me, but you disobedient to the Most High too. And they understand that, like, what I don't see, God sees everything. So
that's right.
Blessing trying to be sneaky, and that's all I tell them. And she's only 3 years old, but there's no whooping though. I never whooped her since he was born. I never touched my child a day in my life. But you know what I do? I talk to him, and like my mama, like she'd say she did whatever. She didn't have to whoop us. She just look at us like, and you understood. But if somebody said in the comments, it's the patience, it's the kind, it's the love that I show every day. And it's not, I'm irritated or I need a break. It's, I love y'all. And that's how they just respect that. So that's.
Did you want to put in the comments? I guess some people were responding.
I'm going to go into the comments. Let me see here. The shepherd guided the sheep with the rod. He did not beat the sheep with the rod. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. We have, Miss Daily Eye, smacking an adult for a good cause sounds insane. So does hitting a child for a good cause? Okay, I think that was that. Proverbs 13:24, spare the rod, spoil the child. I did not say spare. Okay, let's spare the rod, spoil the child. Solomon said that. I don't know him. Christ never said that. Let's be Christ-like. And
so he struck some nerves on the
24. He that spared his rod hated his son. That's the one I was looking for. He that spared his rod hated his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Someone said 12 children. That's a blessing. Children need to understand why they can't do or say things. I think we're going into the other comments. Yeah, we are. So when it comes down to it, me as a mom, I thank the Father that I was able to. I'm not gonna say I didn't discipline my children because I did.
You address that comment though.
Which one, babe?
The one that says Solomon said that, not
no, when it's like hitting an adult, then why would you? And that's what we meant. It's like comparing an adult to a child.
But they're still a human being, though. At what point?
Oh, here you go. You're saying smacking an adult for a good cause sounds insane. So does hitting a child for a good cause? It seemed like something else was probably supposed to
Yeah, I
come
think it's
behind
supposed to be.
that. I
So
guess.
You know
basically,
you're gonna have to do a part 4 now because you done started something.
no, no, they are human. No, I'm gonna relate to that because that's something that I separate.
Yeah.
I separate myself from my child. They are human beings. We human beings too. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to compare a child disobedient to a grown-up disobedient. That's not, we're not even equal on a certain thing. So basically you saying at the end of the day, if your child come to you
Okay.
and you see your, go ahead.
I'm so
Go
sorry,
ahead.
but we're coming to a close. So
Yeah.
just like you said, Naima, we're gonna have to do a part 4 of this. You know what? What I'm gonna do is, because it went way out of, it's not about the blood, or is it? But I don't know. I guess we'll just keep it at that title, and we'll talk about. No, I don't know. We'll see. But
Well, you know, yeah.
something that we're going to come back, because this is a very hot topic. Look,
Yeah.
this is Mercy Seed. I'm YuNiYAH, and like, subscribe, the Female Solution. Go to thefemalesolution.com. You can like, you can use and subscribe. Tony, would you be willing to come back with us? We maybe even get somebody else to come on. And this is not about debating, arguing, or hurting. Huh?
Let's get
Say
2
that again.
pro discipline and 2 con, 2 for and 2 against, and just
Yeah, and this is not an argumentative thing. We don't do that. This is just about sharing, right? We all can learn, we can all can see, because we all having differences, but we do want to be, as you said, Christ-like. We want to move like the Messiah moved. We do want to move like the Father moved. So we're gonna do this again. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Well, no, we'll be back in March, right? This is the end of February. So I'm the second and the fourth Monday. So just know, whatever the second is, the second Monday of February, we will be back. Tony, we would love to have you back as well, so we can continue this on. And we may even be able to find someone else. That's the 9th? Okay, so March 9th, we will be back. So mark that on your calendars, so that you guys can come on back and give the comments as though you all have given them. And we're gonna do this thing. I really like this. It was really good. And thank you all for joining me here at Mercy Seat. Again, I am YuNiYAH, and we're going to be coming back again real soon to elaborate on this just a little bit more. So bring your comments, bring your thoughts, bring your scriptures, bring your heart, but bring love. This is never going to be a show about debate. It's never going to be a show about you right, I'm wrong, you wrong, I'm right. This is always about being able to share, and we can always learn one from another. So again, I am YuNiYAH here at Mercy Seat. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys again.
Father, forgive us. Can you have mercy? Please have mercy on us. Please have mercy on us. We repent of our sins. Won't do it again. Deliver us from this evil, chosen people. Please have mercy on us. Please have mercy on us. We repent of our sins. Won't do it again. Deliver us from this evil, chosen people. Yeah. Please, yeah, forgive us, fight for us, forgive us, your chosen people.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, Let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.